Then I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven, with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on earth. He is called Another, because he follows the angels with trumpets. The fresh angels of this chapter have been sent to explain the significance of the sounding of the seventh trumpet. The announcement of judgment is a gospel because the removal of the old world is good news for the victims of the old world. It is eternal, as part of God's eternal word, never ceasing to be valid. This is not, in principle, different from the gospel found in the rest of the New Testament, which is also based on the imminence of judgment. The angel says, "Fear God and give him the glory, for the hour of his judgment has come." This repeats the warning of the mighty angel of chapter 10, before the trumpet was sounded. The approach of judgment is given as a reason for fearing and worshipping God as the one who made the different parts of the world. The two themes go together, because judgment is about putting right the world God made, making the world more complete. Another angel, a second, followed, saying, "Fallen is Babylon the Great." This proclamation follows on logically from the announcement that the hour of judgment has come. This verse anticipates the later description, because Babylon has not yet been introduced as a character. The two scenes at the end of the chapter may as well be brought into this part of the discussion. They go back to the proclamation of God's judgment against the nations, found in the prophet Joel, "Put in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Go and tread, for the winepress is full, the vat overflows, for their wickedness is great." These two metaphors, the time of the wheat harvest and the time of the wine harvest, are now developed into little dramas which John can witness. In the first scene, one like a son of man, seated on the cloud, is told to "put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, for the harvest is fully ripe." This figure is borrowed from the judgment scene in Daniel chapter 7. Then the angel who has power over fire is told to "put in your sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe." This figure appears to be the same angel who launches the 7 trumpets by throwing fire from the altar upon the earth. In other words, these two scenes are not new events in the storyline of Revelation. They are simply additional, metaphorical ways of expressing the message of the first two proclamations, that the hour of judgment has come, and the old world is going to be overthrown. The central message of the third angel's proclamation is the need to avoid any association with the beast. Once again, this is the logical consequence of the proclamation that the hour of judgment has come, for the beast is going to be judged. The point is that receiving the mark, which indicates loyalty to the beast, is understood by God as a decision against himself. It is a serious business with serious consequences. Here is a call for the endurance of the saints. The logic is that knowing what happens to the followers of the beast should be motivating the saints to resist the pressure to compromise their faith and attach themselves to the doomed regime. The voice from heaven says, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord henceforth." This gives the positive side of the third angel's proclamation. It relates, in the first instance, to those who have resisted the beast and carried their resistance to the point of martyrdom. Instead of losing from their resistance, they have gained rest. What does henceforth mean? When does the blessing begin? At first glance, the obvious meaning would be, as from this point in the narrative. But that point in the narrative is rather late in the story for the blessing to convey much benefit. Surely we must bring back the word, henceforth, at least to the moment when John hears the voice and the message is published in Revelation, to cover the martyrs of John's own time and onwards. Or rather, indeed, to the moment when Christ rose from the dead, and it first became possible to die, in the Lord, and gain from the power of his resurrection. There is perhaps no need to restrict the benefit of the blessing to the martyrs themselves. It is part of a promise which belongs to the church at large, as it says in Hebrews, "Whoever enters God's rest also ceases from his labors as God did from his."